Okay, we are now ready to go. I'm very sorry about that. So today we'll live with, excuse me. Okay, so we'll start straight away with our coaching session today. We are again looking at pig feeding management. Like I said, there is no way you can properly manage your farm if you are not, if you don't plan from the start of the farm. So proper management starts with the planning, and that's what we are talking about today. Most of the issues that we are looking at these days are related to management. And if you want to be efficient and effective, this must be backed up by proper planning at the start of the farm. But before we start, my name is Christopher Mulindwa. I work with Applying Pork, Uganda Limited, but I'm also a technical assistant for the New Science here in East Africa, as well as supporting Choice Genetics. Kabira Janet, Walter, I'll request you to exit those people who are writing in the presentation. Kabira Janet, I think he's also starting to misbehave. So anybody who misbehaves with the presentation, please eliminate them from the training. So like I said, I also give technical support to the New Science and Choice Genetics. With the Choice Genetics, we are planning to start importation of boar semen into the country, but as well as live animals. For boar semen, those who are interested, you will have to do to pre-book for this semen, because as you may know, the lifespan of boar semen is very short. And so if you don't pre-book, we can't be sure. We cannot be sure that, this semen we import will be used. So we will request you to book in advance, so that when the semen arrives, you just take your semen to the farm and do the insemination. Always support with people who can, the technicians who can handle the insemination. Yeah, on top of that, we also plan to have a bulk importation of live animals, live genetics, and that is the grand parent pigs. For those who attended the session on genetics, I believe you understand. The grand parent pigs of Landrace and Yorkshire, and also terminal boars. Terminal boars of the P90, the P81, and the P26. We will be doing a bulk importation because, as you may know, if you're going to import alone, the cost of flight will be very high. And once this effort is, joined together, it is very easy for you to access this semen, semen, both semen and live animals at reasonable prices. So that is something that we intend to do in the near future, in fact, starting this month. So New Science supplies the concentrates, including the pig 25% and the pig 5%. The pig 25% is for farmers who cannot access quality soy cake and sunflower in general, quality protein feedstuffs, and the big 5% is for farmers who have access to quality soy cake and sunflower. So these two concentrates will enable you make feeds on your farm And like we said, making feeds on farm helps you cut the production cost. Feeding takes the largest percentage of the pig farm production cost. So it is very important that you go about it carefully. Thank you very much. We will start with what we have to look at today. I forgot to mention, New Science also has Babista. Babista is a creep feed specifically for piglets. So it's we had no access to highly quality creep feed on the market, but now we have from New Science Babista Safe. Okay. Like last time, we looked at a lot of issues. For people who are watching from Facebook, this presentation, the class in Zoom, is being projected in, is available on YouTube. So you can go to YouTube and search for my name, Christopher Mulindwa, and you'll be able to watch or to view the presentation. I'm unable to project it on Facebook, but you can access it from Zoom, sorry, from YouTube. Okay, I'm going to go through what we went through last Saturday, just briefly, to keep us on the same page on what we are talking about today. So we talked about the choice of feed ingredients and discussed about the availability of these feed ingredients, the price, the nutritive value, the limitations to use, the processing and storage, the palatability and the digestibility. We had a discussion over that in detail. We also talked about how you can access these feedstuffs, and we said you can grow them on your farm. You can I'm extremely very sorry. I am extremely very sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Walter, I've seen your missed call. I'm extremely very sorry. My computer went off, but glad that I'm back.
Noted, actually, it's the reason I was calling you, but it's okay. We are back.
So I'm very sorry. I'm sorry about that. The good thing is that I'm back now. Okay. I'm very sorry for that break that was not anticipated. But good thing is that we are back again. My computer went out of battery. I forgot to plug it into power, and I've been using it. So like I said, we spoke about the feed access, the feed ingredient access, and we talked about growing these feedstuffs, these different ingredients on your farm, for example, soy and maize, buying from middlemen, and buying from retailers. We say that growing on your farm is much cheaper. Buying from middlemen is the next, and buying from retailers is the most expensive. We talked about the size, the particle size, the size of particles of maize and soybeans mainly. We also talked about mycotoxins and their causes. We talked about mycotoxicosis, condition that is caused by excess ingestion of mycotoxins in feeds. We talked about the effect on sows, on goats, and the poor growth that it causes in the commercial herd. So today we are going to start from where we stopped last time, and officially this presentation, today's coaching session has started. We want to talk about water requirement. It is a common behavior amongst many pig farmers in the country, most especially those who are just starting their business. You just place the pig water nipples the way you want, and at the end of the day, you end up making your pigs do not, your pigs fail to access enough water like they would have accessed. So this is to help us to understand the amounts of water and the height where we should place these nipple drinkers to avoid issues. Because if the nipple drinker is put too high, it means that the pigs will not be able to access it. If it is put too low, like if the height is very low, still it becomes very difficult for the pig to access the water. It will be very difficult for it to drink from a nipple that is placed at a very low height. Okay, so let's look at the windy piglets. The windy piglets, you need to place the nipple at around 15 centimeters. The height should be 15 centimeters. And the calculation is that you're going to use about half a liter per piglet per day. So you should work out water inflow that like we will be discussing later. Of 11 kilograms, you place the nipple at a height of 20 to 25 centimeters. and you will use about 1.9 liters of water per day. For pigs of 27 kilograms, you place the nipple drinkers at about 35 to 40 centimeters. And you'll need about 5.7 liters of water on a daily basis. A pig of 45 kilograms, you place the nipple drinker at 50 to 60 centimeters height from the ground. And the consumption will be about 6.6, 6.7 liters of water. So of 90 kilograms, you place the nipple drinker, you can start from 80 to 90, place the nipple drinker at about 70 centimeters, and the expected water intake is 9.5 liters. Gestating sows still at 90 centimeters, and you will consume about 17 liters of water. For lactating sows, 90 centimeters again, because these are grown-up pigs. 90 centimeters, and you expect to consume about 20 liters of water a day. Lactating sows can consume about 23 to 30 liters a day. So their water needs are very high. They need more water than the rest of the groups in the farm. The boars will consume about 15 liters of water on a daily basis. So the height of the nipple drinker is 90 centimeters as well. So I'm only talking about people who are using nipple drinkers because we are discussing commercial pig farming. And a nipple drinker, using nipple drinkers is the easiest way for you to ensure clean and fresh water availability to your pigs at all times. Pigs need water to be available at all times. You should make water available, and nipple drinkers will help you at that. So like you can see, if you're keeping pigs like different weights or different ages in the same pens, it's also important that you adjust the height of the nipple drinkers, so that as these pigs grow, they can shift from the lower nipple drinkers to those at a higher height. So that is something very important that you must look at. So let's look at water flow. Water flow is very important in other countries or on commercial operations. Water flow is so much related to pressure, and pressure is measured. But this is not a common practice among farmers in Africa, and most especially Uganda and the East African region. So it is not something common. And therefore, we need to work out some issues. Seru Nkuma, you are writing in the presentation. Seru Nkuma, we will eliminate you from today's coaching session. You're writing in the presentation. Please stop it. Like I was saying, water flow is very disturbing to many African pig farmers because the pressure is not measured, and a few farmers actually understand how to deal with pig nipple drinkers. So like you can see, if you open your nipple drinker, many of them can be opened. You can see for those who are watching the presentation. You open the nipple drinker and you check inside it, you will see that holes. Okay. We have large hole nipple drinkers with large hole, nipple drinkers with a medium hole and small hole. I believe those who have opened nipple drinkers about this. If you have not opened your nipple drinker, I request you to go back and open and check and see these holes. Some are small, others are medium, and others are large. Okay, so the size of these holes and the pressure of the water means a lot. Means a lot to the amount of water that will be released at a given time. Okay, if the pressure is high and the hole is big, it means much more water will be released. And if the hole is small, so whichever the case it may be, little water will be released. And if the hole is medium, so the release will be average. So you go check those nipple drinkers, and press these nipple drinkers, you know, match them to the right category of animals that are going to drink from these drinkers. Like if you're building for the sows, most especially the lactating sows, you should use drinkers with big, large holes. Okay. The drinkers should have large holes. We call them orifice, but let's keep calling them holes. The holes must be large so that water can, you know, come in larger quantities. And you should watch, you know, these holes, the size of these holes, together with the pressure, determines the amount of water that is released per minute. An amount of water released per minute is very important, because if it is less, then it means that for categories like the sows, it will be very difficult for them to receive enough water they need to use on a daily basis. So like for the windy sow for the windy piglets, you need a water flow of about 0.4 liters per minute. 11 kilograms, windy piglets, you need a water flow of about 0.5 kilograms. 7 kilograms, 45 kilograms, you need water flow of about 1 liter. Okay, you need a water flow of about 1 liter per minute. And a pig of 90 kilograms, you need a water flow of 2 liters per minute. Okay, same applies to the gestating sow, to the gestating gilts, and lactating sows and boas. So how do you measure the water flow of your nipple drinkers? It's very easy. You don't need to buy, you know, expensive gadgets. You get a mug or that can take in 2 liters of water. Then you time, you squeeze the nipple drinker, let the water flow as you watch on your watch, as you monitor on your watch. So if the mug of 2 liters gets full in 1 minute, then you know that the flow of that nipple drinker is 2 liters per minute. If it doesn't, then you know that the nipple drinker doesn't release 2 liters of water per minute. So it is important. That is the easiest way you can measure the flow of your nipple drinkers. And it is very, very important. Okay, so after the nipple drinkers, we definitely have to talk about the feed cups. With the feed troughs, if you remember when we were talking about mycotoxicosis, we said that this type of feeding is actually very important to the build-up of mold in the feeding troughs. If you're feeding your pigs on liquid feeds and you're not using modern equipment, you have higher chances of having these feeds molding from the feed trough, because cleaning is always not efficient. And so some feed particles are left in the feed trough, most especially in concrete feed troughs. So if it is not cleaned well, the feed particles left there will start to mold. And as you may know, during the process of molding, mycotoxins are released. And these mycotoxins, when ingested by pigs, they lead to a condition known as mycotoxicosis, like we discussed last Saturday. So there are different types of feedstuffs. I would encourage, if you cannot buy the very modern feedstuffs, to try these improvised feedstuffs. Ugandans are very creative people. Africans in general are very creative people. You can make feed troughs using wood, like you can see the feed trough these plates are using. Okay, so you introduce such a feed trough and put nipple drinkers. It will be very difficult for these plates to mix water with the feed. So the feed will always keep dry. But also, such feed troughs ease the work of feeding. Like it reduces on the need for labor. Okay, because your farm workers will come, put feeds in the trough, and if you're feeding the commercial herd where feeding is at ad libitum feeding is encouraged, it becomes very easy. So they'll need to only put in the feed in the reservoir once a day, and the pigs will keep feeding for the rest of the day. So it is labor saving, time saving, and it makes ad libitum feeding more easier. Okay, more than these concrete feed troughs. And if you chose to use the concrete feed troughs, it is also not good for you to really make the trough for water close to the trough for feeds, because at the end of the day you cannot avoid water from dropping into the pig feed, and you know the repercussions. So on the other hand, in the modern systems, we have two types. There is a type that is automated, like you can see here. You have to put a reservoir outside, and then the feed flows into the trough automatically. Okay, so this requires a certain level of investment that many farmers, of course, will not afford. If you can't afford and you want to use modern feed troughs, then this one, which is semi-automatic, is better, where you will have to pour feeds time after time. But since these pigs are not eating these feeds, in a day, you can keep pouring. Okay, time after time, you can pour once in a day, and the feeds can stay there for a week or for 3 days. All you need to do is to always come back and turn the feed, okay, as well as covering the top so that water doesn't drop into into the feed trough reservoir. So these two types are available in the modern systems. You can use this semi-automatic or this fully automatic feed trough. So on the side of piglets, you know, they are hugely delicate animals, and you really need to take care when you're feeding them. So you need to look for feed troughs that can manage their condition, and most especially during creep feeding. So this is an automated one, the semi-automatic one, and for these ones, you have to keep putting. For example, creep feed, you keep putting time after time. Creep feeding requires efficient hygiene, and so using troughs like these ones, made of stainless steel, good plastic material is highly important. It's highly important because these are very easy to clean. They're very easy to clean. So from time to time, you have to be cleaning these feed troughs. Okay. Okay, so the types of feeding strategies. This is something that we briefly talked about last week. Walter, please, let me hope my sound is clear. I see a lot of messages about the sound.
There are those few glitches. It's not that constant, it's intermittent, but somewhere it breaks, somewhere it connects, but hopefully it's not internet.
So should we say that it is not clear?
Now it's okay. Just a few minutes back, it was intermittent, on and off.
Oh, sorry about that. And you think people missed anything? We can probably go back a bit.
On the feed troughs, you could just do a recap on the feed troughs.
Of the feed troughs. Okay, please. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. You know, technology will always be technology. Okay, so I said that we have different troughs commonly used in Uganda as concrete feed troughs. Commonly used are the concrete feed troughs. But like I said, and like you see in the picture, there are a lot of issues that are associated with them. And I was recommending for this type of feed trough, the improvised wood feed trough would be ideal. If you're using the semi-automated, I would say, but done in a local way. Excuse me. Done in a local way, it would be better, but make sure that you use heavy wood so that pigs don't move the troughs. Also talked about the modern feed troughs, where you are going to see the automated troughs, and with automated troughs, the feeds just flow into the trough. So you just need an external reservoir, you pack it with the feeds, and the feeds will keep on flowing into the trough, depending on how you're managing the inflow. And this semi-automatic one, where you need to manually refill, like we saw in the improvised one, the wood one, this type, the improvised trough using wood. Okay, hope that is clear. Then we talked about the piglet feed troughs. Of course, with the piglets, these are delicate animals, and so hygiene must be very high. So because there is a high need for hygiene, you need to use proper feed troughs that you can easily clean. Okay, so since you need feed troughs that you can easily clean, that's why you see those made of stainless steel and very good plastic to ease cleaning. Okay, so when you're going to do crop feeding, these are options that you can look out for. For this one, you have to keep feeding, and this is the semi-automatic one. Okay, so we go back to the types of feeding strategies. Yeah, like I said, we have different types of feeding strategies, and these include the improvised feeding, the complete feeds, and the farm-made feeds. The farm-made feeds, of course, are feeds that you mix from your farm. And the complete feeds are feeds that you buy from the manufacturer ready for the pig to consume. And the improvised feeding is anything related to the giving of sweet potato silage. I so much emphasize sweet potato silage because it is the only feed stuff that you can improvise and you have less risks. It has less risks. You can't compare it to the kitchen waste and the hotel remains, because these remains can actually harbor diseases. Okay. Feed formulation. Feed formulation is a technical aspect, is a technical activity that requires anybody mixing these feeds to have the necessary technical know-how on how to go about this important activity. It is common in our country, many feed stockists are nutritionists. So you go to them, they plan for what you have to feed the pigs. And sometimes this is the reason why we invest money in feeding pigs and we don't come up with the necessary performance. So you need to use correct formulas for you to come up with okay. You need to use correct formulations for you to come up with the right feed, a feed that will perform on your pigs, a feed that will cause growth, a pig that will cause a milk down, and the rest. So you must use correct formulas. I so much discourage you from using generic formulas. Don't just pick formulas and put on your pigs. When you're buying feeds for your pigs, you must be very careful, extremely careful, not to allow these poor practices, eat up your profit. Because if you're buying feeds but you don't mix them properly, you don't use proper formulas, it means that your pigs will not have a balanced diet. And once the diet is not balanced, it means that growth also, or performance in general, will not be achieved. So when we are doing feed formulation, we look at three main areas. And this includes the production objectives of the farm. So you got to look at your production objectives when Do you want to go to the market? Which quality of pork you want to achieve? Etc. etc. Also, we have to look at the reproductive stage, most especially with the reproductive herd. You need to check the reproductive stage. Are these animals gestating? Are they lactating? Are they dry sows? Are they, growing gilts? Are you doing gilt rearing? So in the commercial herd, we basically focus on the stage of growth. Are they piglets? Are they growers? Or are they finishers? These different categories demands for different levels of nutrients, and therefore different formulations. So that brings us to two main categories of feed formulas, and these include the reproductive herd formula and the leaf productive herd formulations and the commercial herd formulations. The reproductive herd formulations are basically formulations for your sows, and the commercial herd formulations are basically formulations for your commercial herd, the pigs that you're growing for slaughter. Okay. So it's reproductive herd formulations. I'm using an example of the New Science concentrate formulations. On the reproductive herd, we have the gilt rearer. A gilt rearer is a special deity for gilts, but also for dry sows. Okay, so the gilts, you're preparing them, like we said last week, to grow to the minimum insemination weight, which should be around 130 kilograms. So you must give this special deity, the gilt rearer, and the same deity is required for the sow, which has weaned off its piglets. Mr. on Facebook, you can go to YouTube. You will be able to view the presentation. I can see your comment. You can't join the Zoom meeting. The class is already full. We already have 100 participants, and that's all we can take in. But you can view the presentation from Zoom. I'm unable to project it on Facebook. So you can go to to YouTube and view the presentation. Thank you very much. So the dry sows. The dry sows also need a diet that is almost similar to the gilt rearer, because you want them to come back on heat and get inseminated again. The earlier weaned sows are inseminated, the better for any pig farmer, because one, you're saving time. Okay, you're saving time, and two, you're likely to have more parities in a year. You're likely to have more litters, more piglets. So a sow coming back on heat quickly after weaning is an advantage to any pig farmer. And this must be 3 to 5 days. 3 to 5 days, these animals must be back on heat. Sometimes they go up to the 7th day, but if they are fed rightly, they'll be back on heat as early as possible. So you must look after lactation, feeding, and the feeding immediately after weaning. So you have these two very important feeds, but we use the same formula. Gilt rearer, the same formula can work for the gilt rearer, the dry sow. Now, when it comes to the boar, you must be very careful not to overfeed your boar. Because when you overfeed it, risks are that it will get too fatty. And once it gets too fatty, its use in natural insemination becomes very difficult. So you must take care when you're using gill trailer diets to feed your boars. You must regulate feed consumption. Like whenever you see that these animals are gaining a lot of weight, it's better that you cut the feeding. You cut the amount of feeds that you're giving to this boar on a daily basis. So the gestating sow. With the gestating sow, still feeding must be planned carefully. Okay, on average, those who are asking, the gill trailer, we give about 3 kilograms, but we increase to about 4 to 5 kilograms during at around 28 weeks. We call it flushing to make these sows, gilts gain weight faster, but also to increase the fertility of these gilts. Okay. So you give about 3 kilograms, then you flush them later before you inseminate them. And for the dry sow, the average is 3 kilograms per sow per day. The boar is also 3 kilograms, but once you see that it is over fattening, it's better to cut the feed. You must keep it in the right body shape. So for the gestating sow, and gill trailer, you use this column. Okay, you use this column. So if you're using the big 5%, which we so much recommend for the reproductive herd, you will need to use this column. So in simply, this is like 29. If you want to mix 100 kilograms, this is like 29 kilograms of broken maize, 45 kilograms of maize bland, 5 kilograms of limestone, 11 kilograms of the oiled soy, 7 kilograms of sunflower, and 5 kilograms of the concentrate. Okay. Hope this is properly understood. When we come to the gestating sow, the gestating sow is also a very delicate type of animal. It's a delicate category. Like immediately when you inseminate your sows, you have to cut. You have to cut feed. You have to cut the amount of feeds that these sows are ingesting on a daily basis. And if they have been taking like the 4 kilograms or the 3 kilograms for the gilts, you must cut it to about 2 to 2.5 kilograms. This is why for the gilts, you really have to inseminate them at correct weights, because then they will be having some fat deposits to keep them going when you cut the feed. So you have to cut the feed after insemination to about 2 to 2.5 kilograms, increase it during mid-gestation to about 3 kilograms, and again, increase it during late gestation to about 3.5 kilograms per day. Okay? And the good thing is that even in the formulation of gestating meal, for those who are on Zoom and YouTube, during the formulation of the gestating meal still, the scientists who did the work took the nutrient composition in consideration. Like you consider the nutrient composition of gestating sow meal. Like you can see, is even giving less energy. If you say we have, sorry, it's giving more energy, but cutting the amount of soy, the oil soy cake. It is 115 kilograms in Q-Trially, 165 kilograms in lactation meal, and only 60 kilograms in gestating sows. So excessive nutrient intake during earlier stages of gestation is very detrimental to the implantation. It a little disorganizes the hormones necessary for the implantation and the rest. So at the end of the day, it may lead to reabsorption of the fertilized eggs, and therefore you end up with small litter sizes or even repeats. Okay. So on the lactating sow, still the formulation, like we said, lactation is highly demanding. The sow needs nutrients to release milk, and it also needs nutrients to keep its body in shape. Okay. And also for its metabolism. You know, it's still a living organism and still needs to keep living. So like you can see still, the scientists, the nutritionists who designed this formula into consideration. But it doesn't mean that you don't feed lactating sows ad libitum or at will. Make sure that feeds are available to a lactating sow at all times. Okay? Don't limit consumption. It's very important. If you know the nutrient composition was cared for during the formulation. And like you can see, its energy, the energy value of this feed is quite high. You still need a lot of broken maize. It's more than the rest of the categories, 150 kilograms. And they are reducing the cost of maize bran. By the way, we are using maize bran in the reproductive herds to, one, cut the nutrient composition, but also provide for fiber. So you see most of these formulas having maize bran in, but that is the advantage. You're cutting the nutrient composition, you're providing fiber, but overall, you're also cutting the feeding budget, because maize bran at the end of the day provides a certain level of energy, and therefore using it alongside maize will reduce on the amount of maize that you need in the final mixture. And sometimes maize bran is cheaper than maize bran. Sorry, maize bran is cheaper than maize. And so you cut cost in that way. Okay, so for people who have been using maize bran only, I should inform you that the energy in maize bran is a little lower. And feeding your pigs on only maize bran or mixing these concentrates with only maize bran might not give the required performance. So you have to use maize bran alongside broken maize, and make sure that the maize used, the particles are of the necessary size, like we discussed sometime back. So I hope that is understood. So we go to the commercial herd formulations. As for those attending from Facebook, like I said, we are live on YouTube, and you can view the presentation there. So you can go to YouTube and view the presentation. We are unable to project the presentation on Facebook. but it is available on YouTube. So don't hesitate to go to YouTube, just in case you want to be following what is happening in the class on YouTube. Sorry, in Zoom. The class is also going on YouTube under my channel, Christopher Mulindwa. So when we go to the commercial herd, we have the creep feed, we have the starter feed, we have the grower feed, and we have the finisher feed. Okay? The creep feed should be factory, made. It's better that you get creep feed from directly from the manufacturer, because it might be very difficult for an average farmer to make this feed on their farms. So here we request you not to use the concentrate. New Science has Babista Safe. Babista Safe is a creep feed. So instead of using concentrates to make diets, it's better you buy the Babista Safe. It's better. So you need the creep feed, which is fed alongside the mother's milk. So creep feeding helps you introduce these piglets to a solid diet, and introducing them to a solid diet earlier lead to early growth of their digestive system. And early growth means early growth of the gut, of the digestive system, means good feed utilization after weaning. Also, the feed intake after weaning is high because these piglets are used to solid feeds. But also, creep feed facilitates early weaning. Like if you want to do early weaning, creep feeding will supplement the mother's milk. And so the piglets will grow at a good speed. Creep feeding also helps if your sows are not, giving good quantities of milk. Maybe the sow has a large litter and it can't feed it well. So orienting these piglets to solid feeds as early as possible enables them to cope up with the little milk that is produced by the sow. So at the end of the day, you end up achieving good growth. And this will facilitate early weaning. Remember, we said that early weaning is very important because it increases the number of litters that you receive from your pigs in a year. Okay? So that makes creep feeding very, very important. If you want it to be effective, it should be a factory-made creep feed. Okay? So the starter feed. This also, in many commercial farms, is a factory-made. Excuse me. Like babies. Babies are delicate, even in human beings. They are delicate to deal with. So even in babies, the parent is very careful during the weaning process to make sure that this baby again receives the diet that they must receive during the weaning process, so that their growth is not hampered hampered with, and their health is kept in check. Okay. So as the starter feed, we recommend, like for people who are using the New Science concentrates, we recommend that you use the pig 25%. Why the pig 25%? It's because this concentrate has first-class proteins. You have no issue with the proteins in the concentrate. And so you can easily make a good feed for your piglets, for your weaned piglets. And make sure that you don't do, abrupt change of feed, like the change of feed must be gradual. Okay? When you wean off these piglets, keep feeding them on creep feed for a week as you introduce this concentrate-based starter feed on the third day. Okay? After weaning, piglets, of course, are not so much interested in the solid feed. In fact, they will take more water than eating. But as time goes on, they will, develop interest in the solid feed, and they will start eating. So make sure that you gradually transfer them from the baby star creep feed or any other creep feed that you're using in your countries of residence to the concentrate-based diets or to any other starter diet that you're using in your countries of residence. So you need a different formula. And for here, we only recommend that you use 25%. So if you're making 100 kilograms, again, you need about 35 kilograms of broken maize. The particle size should be right. Okay, if you allow me go back a bit, this is very important. You remember we talked about particle sizes. You must consider particle size of about 500 microns. And when you go to these millers, the common language is pre-starter, starter, and grower. Okay? So I think that is a language of people who are milling for poultry. But in the pigs, we use the pre-starter or starter for the piglets, and sometimes the starter for the growers and the grower for the finishing pigs. But if they understand these particle sizes, ask them to mill to at least 500 microns if you're going to make starter diets for your piglets. Don't do this for the grower pigs because it might cause ulcers. Okay. So when we go to the grower feed, we prefer that you use the big 5%. Integrating these concentrates hugely reduce your feeding budget. The big 5% encourages use of locally available feedstuffs a lot, locally available protein feedstuffs. So if it's better to use the big 5% to make feeds for your grower herd and your finisher herd. Okay, and formulations can be provided. I don't know whether I have one here. But these formulations can be provided for Ugandans who are attending the meeting. Okay, it is here. So these two formulas, if you've seen the new formulations that we share these days, a few things have changed. We don't encourage you to use the big 5% to make certain diets. We now encourage you to use the big 25% for consistent performance, because the new science peak concepts have been here for a year now, and we've studied, we've seen the performance from farmers who are using these concentrates. Sometimes it is very hard for you to access quality soya cake and quality sunflower. So when it is difficult, then the performance of your piglets will not be good. Using the pig 25%, which has highly quality proteins, is much better. Okay. So again, if you're mixing, if you want to make 100 kilograms, it's like 35 kilograms of broken maize, 40 kilograms of maize bran, 10 kilograms of the oiled soy cake, 100 kilograms of sunflower, 10 kilograms of sunflower, and 5 kilograms of the 5% concentrate. On the finisher hard, you need 32 kilograms of broken maize, 44 kilograms of maize bran, 9 kilograms of soy cake, 10 kilograms of sunflower, and 5 kilograms of the concentrate, pig 5%. Okay. Okay. So now let's check the costings. This is very important for the economics, and very important when you're planning the management of your pig farm nutrition. So in Uganda, $1 is 3,500 for those joining us from outside East Africa, and for non-Kenyans. For Kenyans, 1 Kenyan shilling costs 33 Uganda shillings. That said, I think we can dive into the costings. When you win off your pigs yourselves, it's about 5 days for it to be inseminated again. So for these 5 days, you need about 3 kilograms of the dry soy diet every day, and that's about 15 kilograms. If you're buying maize excessively, you get a kilogram at you get these 15 kilograms at 15,000 Uganda shillings. That's when maize is expensive. And gestating sow, the average is around 114 days. 114 days, if you're feeding an average of 3 kilograms per day, you have about 345 kilograms. That's the total amount of feeds that you need. So you're about 273, 600 Uganda shillings. You can convert that into dollars. You can convert it into Kenya shillings. For the lactation meal, the sow will lactate for about 28 days, 4 weeks. You use an average of 6 kilograms per day. That's a total of 168 kilograms, and you spend around 184,800 Uganda shillings. So wastage is very, very important. And this is minimal wastage. So from insemination to weaning, you waste about 18 kilograms. If you're wasting about 0.125 kilograms per day. Though many farmers waste more than that. Okay. Walter, hope your system is okay. Walter? Okay, maybe Walter is not here. So that is the much you spend for lactation, and that is the amount you spend on wastage. If you don't manage wastage, imagine if you wasted 36 kilograms, you would have a multitude of this amount. That at the end of the day increases the cost of production per piglet. Okay? So the total amount of feeds you need is about 525 kilograms. And here you are with 491,400 Uganda shillings as the amount of money that you spend in the whole process. This is only meaningful if your litter sizes are okay. Imagine a pig which littered 12 piglets. The cost of production per piglet will be 40,950 shillings. A pig that litters 10 piglets will be 49. A pig that litters 8 will be 61,000. And a pig that litters 6 piglets will be around 80 something Uganda shillings. Okay. So this is very, very important. You need to be careful about the fertility of your sows, the fertility of your gilts. The more the piglets weaned, the less the cost of production per piglet. So sometimes the causes of high piglet production costs include genetics. So you need to watch out with your genetics. The genetics should be very good. Okay, you should use highly fertile genetics. Mortality is during lactation. So, and usually this is due to poor nutrition and chilling, excessive coldness. So these are issues that you must work upon. Miscarriages, abortions, stillbirth, and this also can be caused by reproductive infections. So make sure that your reproductive herd is inseminated. Plan for vaccination. Plan for providing of a separate environment that gives warmth to these piglets and genetics of high quality. Stress repeats. This can also be caused by reproductive system infections, but also poor nutrition, like we said, during early gestation, poor heat detection, and use of poor quality semen. All those can lead to repeats in sows and gilt. So on the side of the commercial herd, we have pre-weaning. Pre-weaning, we mean the amount of feeds you need before weaning. So the crib feed, in other words. So the crib feed, you must make sure that you use at least a minimum of 500 grams from the introduction to weaning. And you need the more 500 grams from weaning to when you transfer these piglets to concentrate-based starter diet or to any starter diet that you're using. So that is about 1,000 grams, and that would cost you an average of 5,000 shillings per piglet. So starter, about 56 days, an average of 1.5 kilograms. You need 4 kilograms, and that is the cost. And for the grower, 10 to 17 weeks, 35 days, 2 kilograms per day, 70 kilograms the total amount, and about 89,600 Uganda shillings is needed. The finisher, 18 to 24 days when you go to the market, about 49 kilograms, you feed about 3 kilograms, and 147 kilograms are needed in total. And so you spend this amount of money. So you need about 301.5 kilograms to finish a pig from group feeding to market. And this has also considered wastage, because averagely you need about 260, 270 kilograms of feeds from weaning to finishing. But this amount is a little exaggerated because we need to cater for wastage. Okay, so basically that is the idea, and this gives you a picture of pricing, how you're going to price your pork products when you go to the market. Okay. Okay, so that was my last slide. I thank you very much for being attentive, listening to me from the start, and sorry for all the technical inconveniences that we experienced. I believe that the coaching was helpful to somebody. So we will be answering some questions now. For those on Facebook, you can put your question in the comment. I'll be able to see it. I'm there, so you can put the question in the comment. For those on YouTube, it will be very difficult for me to answer to your questions, but I think I'll ask another co-host who is viewing from YouTube to write down the questions. Okay, today I'll attend to some questions on YouTube. So my co-host, please help me write down the questions on YouTube, and I'll be attending to a few of them. They tend to get lost. But for those on Facebook, I can even, come back and answer in the comments. So be sure to post your question. And for those on Zoom, please put up your hand. You can already see people putting up hands. I will only take 5 questions from Zoom. I can see we already have 4 people putting up hands. I will take 1 more. I'll take 1 more. If we only have 4, then I'll take these 4. Please, this is closed now. I will only allow Hawaii Y9. Sevia Balije, Olulu Morris, and Daniel Rose. So those are the only 4 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we have the 5th one. I'll allow you. 5th one is who? So let's start with okay. So let's start with Hawaii Y9. Please go ahead and ask your question. Hawaii. Okay, I think it's good there. Let's go to Sevia Balije. Please, Sevia, go ahead. Please unmute and ask your question. Okay, Xavier also is not there. Let's go to Mollis. Mollis? I don't know whether you guys are hearing me. I'm not sure because nobody is responding. So Mollis seems is not there. So let's go to Daniel. Daniel Ross. Daniel, are you there? When I mention your name, please unmute and ask your question. So Daniel also is not there. So we'll go to Alan Atulinda. Alan, are you there? I think something is not right. Either you're not hearing me or something is wrong. Walter? Walter? Walter, are you back? Hello? Are you guys hearing me? Okay. Okay, it means that those guys are not there. Oh, you can mute. Walter, what exactly happened? So can you try unmuting now? Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
so
this will work
okay,
now.
good. Okay.
Okay, this is okay. Wait, 9.
Xavier, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir, Mr. Mulindwa, for the session today.
Welcome.
Now, number one, I would like to ask about the book, because when you authored the book, I think these things of new formulation and new science had not yet come. I'm worried whether the content is included. You have already edited the book again.
Okay.
Then
Thank you.
question number 2. Is it possible to train like mature sows and boars that we have already been rearing, to train them to use nipples? If it is possible, how do we do it? And question number 3, what is an libitum feeding? Then a surplus question is, I've seen like a floor which is like plastic. It looks like plastic where the other piglets were standing. Can we access that floor and leave alone the cementing and whatever? Thank you, sir.
I request you to repeat the third question. I didn't get it.
There are 3 questions.
Ad
One
libitum,
about,
the meaning of ad libitum.
yes.
Okay. And then the plastic slates. What did you talk about the plastic?
The plastic slates, can they rid us of using the cement and concrete? And can I just prepare my house, do the ramming, and put on the plastic slates?
Okay. Thank you very much, Xavier. I think I should respond immediately.
Yes.
So in the book, I've authored a new book. I think it will be on market by the end of this month. It's called Pig Farm Gain, Market Approach. Okay. Sorry, next month, not this month. This month is ending today, somebody advised. So the next month, it will be on market by the end of next month. It is now going through editing. So in that new book is so much focused on commercial production, and part of these details, most of the details are there. And I'll let you know when this book is out. And I believe it will be available in Aristoc and Uganda Bookshop and any other bookshop that will be interested in selling it. So on the training sows to use nipple drinkers, it is very possible. All you have to do is don't avail water and give dry feeds. So all the time you go play with the nipple, it will see that water comes from there. And because you're not giving any alternative, they will learn to use those nipples. You go play with the nipple, make sure the water drops down, they will understand and do the needful. Ad libitum feeding means free feeding, allowing the pig, the animal to eat at will. You know, you make the feed available at all time and make the animal eat whenever it wants to eat. And the use of plastic slates. You know, we are going to be talking about housing next Saturday. And I believe somehow, somewhere, we will be tackling these different flow systems. So because it is a topic that we are going to talk about, I will not go into answering you. I will request you to come back next Saturday because I saw you were here last Saturday. So come back next Saturday. Let's discuss these and get to understand better. Hope I answered you. Now I will go to Mollis. Mollis, you can now unmute.
Right.
Okay, good.
Thank you very much. I want to appreciate for the presentation.
Welcome.
I have some few questions here. The first one, I want to understand about the difference between the yellow maize, then the white maize, because I've seen most farmers, they like using the yellow maize. In terms of nutrients, what are the difference between them?
Okay.
Then the second question, I want to understand how much of nuisance should someone put in the feeds for the commercial ad, and then for the reproductive ad, how much nuisance do you have to put there? Like if you are mixing for one, if you are mixing a feed for 1,000 kgs, how much nuisance are you,
when you're
someone
mixing for
supposed
which,
to put there?
when
For
you're mixing
1,000.
for which category of animals? The finishers, the growers, the lactating sows?
For lactating sows.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So on the use of yellow and white maize, I think yellow maize, the difference is the concentration of particular vitamins in it, and they are useful vitamins as well. And that is the only major difference. So there is no major difference in terms of nutrients, but except the high concentrations of particular vitamins in yellow maize. But there is not much difference in energy content. And on the question of mixing 1,000 kilograms of lactating soy meal, I'll go back here. Okay. I'll go back here. If you're looking at that formula, if you WhatsApped me, I can send you these formulas. You can WhatsApp any of my numbers. Okay, so you can see for the lactating sow, you need 450 kilograms of broken maize. You need 255 kilograms of maize bran, 10 kilograms of limestone, 165 kilograms of the oiled soy cake, 50 kilograms of sunflower, and 70 kilograms of pig Vitaso. Vitaso is a special formulation for sows. So 70 kilograms of Vitaso, 5 to 7.5%. Hope I have answered you. I can send you these formulas. Let me put my phone numbers. Those are my phone numbers, and that's my email address. So I can send you the formula. Okay, now let's go to Daniel Loss. I think, Daniel, you can now unmute. Sorry, I muted you again, but can unmute now.
Yes, good evening, Chris.
Good evening. How are you, Daniel?
Fine, thank you. And thank you for coaching us. I must admit, I'm learning a lot, and I'll pursue my vision and it will come to pass. Now, I have like two or three questions. One is on sweet potato silage. Last week, you hinted that we should probably give it to the productive herd and not the commercial herd. So I wanted to find out what are the advantages of sweet potato silage to the reproductive herd. Then two, there was a time when Vitaso was out of market and I was using 5% New Science concentrate. You advised me to look for dicalcium phosphate, which I failed to get. Now that Vitaso is back in the market, I've switched back to Vitaso, although I'm 1 month into inseminating the animals. Could it be, will there be a very significant effect on maybe the reproductive ability of my animals, the number of piglets or the quality of the piglets? And then finally, I've had people talking about adding sugar to give to the feed that we give to the animals prior to insemination or mating. When do we exactly do this and what are the advantages? Thank you.
I lost the first question. I think there are 3 questions, but probably I lost the first one.
The first one was on sweet potato silage.
Oh, sweet potato silage.
Yes, last week when we were having this discussion and we're looking at improvised feeding, you said this is better when given to the reproductive herd, not to the commercial herd. So I wanted to find out what advantage does it have to the reproductive herd?
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
No, Vitaso, and the third one was?
The third one, Vitaso was out of market and I was using the 5%. When I contacted you, you advised me to add their DCP, which
yes,
I failed to, I couldn't find it. Will it have a much effect on the reproductive ability of my sows? How can I catch up to?
Okay, starting with the first one. Sorry, probably I missed something, but it's okay. Starting with the first one, sweet potato silage. The reason why I encouraged you to use it in the reproductive herd is because in the commercial herd, we can't look for we can't suggest, improvising. You have to give these pigs the necessary diet from weaning to the market because they are sold young. Pigs leave the farm at 24, 28 weeks. They are not that old. And once there is any mistake in the quality of feeds given, it is very easy to collect it on the reproductive side, but very difficult to collect on the commercial side, the commercial herd side. So these improvision kind of strategies can only work on the reproductive herd side. This sweet potato silage, of course, provides some nutrients. If you mail me, I'm going to make it a point to send you a sweet potato silage manual written by Ilili and International Potato Center for you to learn more about sweet potato silage. So you can send me an email. Don't WhatsApp me your email address, or don't put them in the messages. I might not access them. You send me an email requesting for that manual, and I think the presentation is done. I'll also share it. On the absence of Vitasol and the failure to get DCP in the market, I think this challenge lasted for a very short period of time, and so you should not expect a serious impact on your herd. You shouldn't be worried. Things will just be fine. So you keep feeding rightly like you were feeding before. I think I answered you.
Yes, you have the third one.
The third one, I think that's what I missed.
The third one was on adding sugar to the meal
Oh,
prior to mating.
yes,
Or, yes.
prior to mating. Okay, now, majorly, that is a practice for people who are not doing good feeding during the growth of these gilts. If you're really doing good feeding during the growth and the pigs, are heavy enough, these are things that you don't necessarily need to do. They are not that important. Only make sure that your gilt is well managed. Most especially in the last 2 months before insemination. Make sure that it is well managed and you are in control of its estrous cycles.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too so very much.
So let's now go to Alan. You can now unmute.
Thank you, Chris. My question one is what we mix on the farm. Then secondly, in southwestern Uganda, are we together?
Network is so much disturbing. I don't know.
Are you getting me?
Yeah, I'm getting you now.
One was the significance of adding salt into the feeds, the mixture, the feeds that we mix on the farm.
Okay.
Then secondly, in southwestern Uganda, where can we get products like Vitasol?
Southwestern Uganda, that is Kisoro Kabale.
Probably Ntunga Molukunjiri or Kanungu.
Can you access Kasese?
Not much, but if it is needed, then I can do.
I think what we do, please WhatsApp me. Let's talk via WhatsApp. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's talk via WhatsApp and see how best you can access the products.
Okay.
And for salt, if you're going to use the concentrates, you don't need to add salt. The concentrates come with the salt added, so do not add salt. But if you're not yet using the concentrates, then let's talk via WhatsApp and see, because salt is required in very small quantities. And if you feed it in excessive, if it is excessive, you're likely to suffer salt poisoning. So we can talk more and see what you can handle.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Now let's go to Ray. Ray, these are extras. Please ask only one question so that we beat up time. Ray, please.
Thank you, Chris, for this wonderful presentation. My question is very short.
That what?
You fed on commercial pig finisher.
Ray, I can't get you properly. I think your network is breaking.
Okay. My question is, can dry sows be fed on commercial pig finisher?
Oh, the dry sows. We do not recommend because, the nutrient requirements are a little different. Though, yes, they can consume the finisher diet, but the nutrient requirement for these two categories of animals are a little different. So it is better that you use the dry sow diet, or you switch. You can use the gilt rail as well. Those two diets are almost the same.
Thank you very much, Chris. I think next week I will follow up your presentation.
So let's now hear from Michael.
Hello, Chris. How are you?
Good, Michael. How are you too?
I'm okay. Sorry, I'm by the roadside trying to do something as well. But my question was quite short. It's about ad libitum and the fact that most of us ration food just to make sure that we remain within manageable costs. So if I'm allowing the pigs to feed as much as they want until they're tired, how do I make sure that I'm also not overly feeding them to eat into my pockets? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Michael. You see, the challenge is that sometimes the genetics we use is questionable. But if the genetics you're using is right, this genetics is made in a way that their feed intake per day is also definable.
Okay.
Like modern pigs, modern finishers will consume an average of 3 kilograms. And that's the average they can take in a day. Challenge comes when you're feeding pigs that whose genetics is not defined. Because once the genetics is not defined, then the performance too is not defined. But also the type of feed troughs you're using, you need to really adopt semi-automated feed stuffs to make sure that these feeds are not wasted. You can't just leave the feed in the open because that will dig into your pockets when the feeds are wasted. But generally, what is consumed is almost these averages that have been given, except if the genetics is different.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll give it a shot and see how that works out for me.
Okay, please.
Thank you.
And lastly, let's listen to Mr. Ngobi. You're the last one. I will not take any more questions from people putting up their hands. So Mr. Ngobi, unmute and ask.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mulindwa. Because of the poor network, I've gotten challenges and I've missed a lot. However, I recently started using the product from your company. So my question is, I bought a 25%. Is it wrong to mix it with the local products like Mukene? Thank you.
Okay. I request you, sir, to use these products as instructed. If you're to gain from them, Mukene would be a good feedstuff, but quality Mukene has stiff competition with human beings. I think a kilogram of quality Mukene now is about 5,000 Uganda shillings. And even during scarcity, because soy cake is scarce these days, the price has not reached 5,000 Uganda shillings. So quality mukene is very expensive. Most of the time, what is sold by these feed stockists as mukene is actually scales and sand and stones with very small, debris of mukene. So you want to attain good performance and you want value for money. So using soy cake would have been the best option. But also due to the poor storage and handling of mukene, the risks of bacterial infections are also inevitable. So this is why we so much recommend soy cake for you to make feeds with these concentrates. Thank you very much. Now let's answer a few questions from the chat. Okay, some few questions from the chat. Hello, I'm the one who appeared. Tony, yes, Tony. What age am I supposed to introduce my piglets to the crib feed? You should introduce crib feed as earlier as 5 days. The day you introduce it, these piglets will not be interested in eating it, the crib. Of course, they are getting milk from their mothers, so they are not that interested. But early introduction helps you orient them, because the earlier you introduce it, the earlier they will adopt it to it. So better introduce it at 5 days, and if you delay, let it be not more than 7 days. So introduce these piglets to crib feed as soon as possible, and keep it out of sow reach, because the sow reaches it, then it will cause issues. You will end up using a lot of crib feed, and give in smaller quantities. When you're introducing it, give smaller quantities and keep increasing as consumption increase. Thank you, Molly. Charles. Thank you, Charles. What is the value of fermenting feeds? Mary, let's talk about this the next time. It's a longer story, so I don't want to engage it now, but we can have a day when we have time. Our time is fast spent. We are in extra time, and we deliberate more about it. For this very educative coaching, welcome, Tony. Another question was ad libitum feeding, but was answered. Okay, great. Salt poisoning, what is it and how can one identify it? Salt poisoning has, by the way, it even leads to death of the animals. So you will see the animals salivating, most especially salivating, losing appetite, getting very weak. Sometimes they can't even stand. So you must be having water. Give a lot of water once such conditions are observed. Talk about ubikanja, their uses. I've talked about ubikanja already, Julius. And I think let's also save this because it is a longer story for another day. You'll be pleasant. You will ask maybe next Saturday if we use less time, but today our time is fast spent. For people on YouTube, I'm told you're just appreciating. I'm glad. Thank you for being pleasant. For those on Facebook, we thank you a lot, Mr. Mulindwa. From Mr. Kato. Mr. Abemukama Benjamin, what is the approximate date for weaning piglets from their mother. This depends. If you have28 creep feed, then you can wean off at 28 days. But make sure you have quality feed. Make sure quality creep feed is available. So 28 days, and that is for 4 weeks. But if you don't have creep feed, it is better to delay weaning. Delay weaning, and weaning should be by weight. Don't wean off piglets that are below 6 kilograms. The least light, like the lighter piglet should be at least 6 kilograms, but you should wean piglets at 8 kilograms, 7-8 kilograms and above. Mr. Bupe Hagi, any advice on vitamins to boost growth for stunted pigs? You can't force pigs to grow. So if they are stunted, it is better to eliminate them. And you work with collect age pigs, then feed them rightly. Administration of vitamins will not help. And even though you boosted their proteins, still they might grow, but may not pay back the investment. Yeah, someone was asking, let me find the question. Okay, use of vitamins. Okay, I think that's all from, thank you for the good info you have to us. You're welcome, Andrew. So I think that's all we have from Facebook. I'm given a question from YouTube. My pigs from Martin at Haire. My pigs weigh about 30 kilograms at 8 months. Would this be a problem of breed? Definitely you have issues with genetics, but it can also be a problem of nutrition. Yeah, the sow weighing a lot of kilograms is not a surprise because it is an old animal, so it can weigh as much as possible. It is old enough. It can weigh as much as possible. So you must, Martin, you must work on your nutrition, you must work on your genetics, and you must work on your management so that you're sure that there is nothing that will hamper the growth of your animals. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I have this presentation available. I will put my email address in the comments for those on Facebook. I will be sharing the presentation, but please, you write me an email requesting for it, and I'll do the needful. For those on YouTube, you can copy my email from the presentation. And those on Zoom, I think you've been able to view my email address. So generally, that is all we had for today. I wish you a nice evening, nice week, and congratulations for Ugandans who just got out of the lockdown. I wish you all the best as we work together in developing the Uganda's pig industry. Wish you all the best. May the Almighty keep you safe. Bye-bye.